That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The way I say it is, I say it a little bit differently, but the same thing, is that the mind, most people's minds are identified with the objects of experience, the TV, the iPhone, the money, the running around, taking care of the kids, doing everything else. For everybody else, you identify your self-worth, who you are, with all the XYZs, the objects of experience. Even your emotions, you identify with that. So when people are happy, they feel happy. When they feel sad, they're completely overwhelmed and feel sad. That's not who you are. Those things are changing all the time, fluctuating. Plus, they're not who you are. You are your mind. And your mind is not all the experiences of the mind. The mind is the experiencer. So that's the more abstract way of saying this exact same thing that you just said. And you're right, it takes a while for people to, not only, even when they first, so a lot of people I teach, they'll have that experience immediately, right away in the first day, sometimes the first time they meditate, but at least in the first couple of few days. But then they forget. Because like you said, what I say, you say discipline, you're right. I use a different word. I say they're so familiar with the other that it takes a while for the familiarity to develop, which is with the experiencing the experiencer as opposed to just experiencing the experience, and making the experiencer the experience, which is what meditation essentially is, as you say, and as Yogananda is describing in his commentary on the Gita. It's the experiencer experiencing the experiencer in this way that we happen to label. We call it meditation. You could call it anything. You could call it eating popcorn. You could label it gobbledygook. It doesn't matter. It happens to be a word that we say meditation. But that's essentially what's happening. And you're right. People are so caught up in the experience that it takes a while. So in my last lecture in the class, I talk about consistency of the practice and how important and valuable and necessary that is, because that's what develops the familiarity. And I talk about it neurosynaptically in terms of familiarity of the pathways in the brain, but it's also familiarity. I talk about it more spiritually in terms of the mind experiencing itself outside the 8-inch plastic bucket on a regular basis. So then it starts to realize, the mind starts to realize, the identification part of the mind starts to realize that we are not the 8-inch plastic bucket mind. That concrete, more concrete, less abstract body of experience says we are the experiencer that's outside the 8-inch plastic bucket, and moreover, we can experience more abstract experiences than these very concrete experiences that people tend to get identified with. So it's not just an identification issue, it's that mainly, but it's also the type of experience can be more sublime and more abstract when we allow our minds through meditation to experience itself outside of the 8-inch plastic bucket.